lots that we were going to get you involved in doing. There's another announcement that I want to make. Even before people get to the polls, they have to be registered. And they have to be encouraged, I hate to say it, but they have to be encouraged to go to the polls. We have a member of the Tea Party that's stepped up with an idea, and we're supporting him with that, and that is a conservative registrar project. And so, in order to be able to vote, obviously, you have to meet the statutory requirements, the constitutional requirements, one of which is to be registered somehow. And there are abilities for citizens to be registrars, to take other citizens' information and help them fill out the forms and become registered voters. It is still amazing to me how many eligible voters in the United States of America are not registered. And how many folks don't realize that when they've moved to a new county or a new state or something significantly has changed in their lives that they need to re-register. And so Daniel Moore is creating the Conservative Registrar War Room. If you are a registrar, or if you want to be, you can help Daniel with this project, and he has a table in the foyer, and it just so happens he's helping pass the hat here in the center aisle. If you wave at everybody, Daniel.
The table's right on the other side of that door. Okay.
Great. All right. I told you a little bit about Albuquerque Tea Party being part of Tea Party Patriots and Tea Party Patriots organization and coordination. One of the things that they do, and I would suggest that, obviously I would suggest that everybody be watching AlbuquerqueTeaParty.com, coming to our website and getting the announcements that we give you about local events, about statewide events, that you take the time to look at the local exposure. You can link to that from the Albuquerque Tea Party website. It's a tremendous a piece of literature that you can be a contributor to, and that you can get an awful lot of information from. And I wanted to make sure that you knew about that, but I also want you to think about also going to the Tea Party Patriots website, because that's a website on a national level that has some tremendous donors that have allowed it to be a very active, a very moving website with a lot of updates, one of which is a legislative update that you're able to get almost on a weekly basis about what is going on in Congress, what bills are coming up before Congress, you know, before Congress goes on its 47th vacation of the year and supposedly comes back to their home districts in order to see the people. But I'm not going to go into the details, but does anybody know about the Law of the Sea Treaty? The Law of the Sea Treaty was defeated in Congress. And so America's sovereignty is upheld by our Congress, and I really am pleased by that. And there's a Congressman, Trent Franks, I'm just going to tease you with this, who has brought out the SHIELD Act. It is House Resolution 668. If you've got some time, look that up. That is an act that we in the Tea Party organization think that we need to get our congressmen and senators behind, but I won't take up the time. I'll just tease you with that. The SHIELD Act, House Resolution 668. And we're going to be encouraging our congressmen to vote for it. That is one of the things I talk about every month, about the passion to action. If you're busy like I am, and you don't have a lot of time, but you'd like to do something every week, if you get on that website and you go to the legislative update and you look at the passion for action, it to do. Either write a letter about something, either to a local official or to a newspaper, or to call your congressman or senator, and they even have a sample for you to use, you can embellish it, you cannot, but it's a great way to stay involved and stay current on the issue. So now we're going to transition. Well, yes, I'm sorry. We also have a Twitter account. I am not tweet savvy, but my wife is, I can tell you, because she does the tweets for the Albuquerque Tea Party, and it is Albuquerque Tea Party, right? So you have to ask her how you follow the Albuquerque Tea Party. There are some 664 people now that are following the Albuquerque Tea Party on Twitter. We'd like to see that be 1,000 or more. It's the wave of the future. I can see it coming, and so I would advise you to get on Twitter and follow the Tea Party, because it's a day-to-day, minute-to-minute almost update. So now we're going to start in with our speakers, fairly close on time, and our first speaker is Judge Henry Alanis. And he's running as a judge for the Metropolitan Court, and he's got about 4 or 5 minutes that he wants to talk to you and bring up to judicial. Judge.
You know, it's always a pleasure for me to be here and have an opportunity to speak. I want to thank David Harris for the letter. I want to tell you that I'm actually here kind of in a different, supposed to be here in kind of a different position, because once the elections are over, us judges won't be able to attend any functions like this whatsoever. We're very limited in what we can do. But I talked to David Harris, and he's actually invited me to be here as a Metropolitan Court judge to tell you a little bit about the court system, and now as a judicial candidate. So I can do that for the next 30 years, because that's something that I can do, and the judicial code doesn't limit me on that. So I got a real nice letter with a perpetual invitation to attend these meetings. But I'm not going to do that for you tonight, because I still want to focus on the campaign. And what I want to focus on is something that's very interesting for us, and that's the upcoming elections. Here in a few weeks, if you read the newspaper, we have 2 positions that are going to open up in New Mexico. The New Mexico Supreme Court is going to have a new justice that's going to be appointed on there and have to run for election. And the district court is also going to have a position that's going to open up. Now, we're kind of in a real unusual situation, so I'm going to give you a little bit about judicial appointment history. And if I run out of time, be sure and tell me. But let me see if I can focus on this in the short time that I have. When we get past the primary, the judges that get appointed, or anybody that wants to run, does not have to do the petitions anymore, just like we were here pre-primary. All they have to do is one of 3 things. They either get appointed by the governor, the Republican Central Committee will nominate somebody to represent the Republican Party, the Democrat Central Committee will nominate somebody to represent the Democratic Party, and those folks will be filling that position. Now, hopefully, whoever the governor appoints, if it's a Republican, then the Republican Party will pick them as their nominee. But it could be potential that they would pick an individual, that the governor would pick an individual, and the Republican Party would pick somebody else, which would mean that an individual would just serve from the date of appointment to December 31st and be out of that position, which makes it interesting. The reason I tell you that, because who is going to close down their practice? Who is going to give up the job that they have for only the opportunity to lose? And the stakes are very, very high. In fact, I can tell you is, and I know Miles and I, when we've talked to you before, I can tell you that there is no Republicans on the state Supreme Court. And the district court where Sam sits, and where Sam Winder, where Brett Loveness sit, there's only like 3 Republicans out of 26 judges. So here's another opportunity to keep that. Now, the reason I bring this up, this organization, the Albuquerque Tea Party, by itself in a very short period of time, got the signatures necessary to put Brett Loveless on the ballot. You folks did that in a very short period of time. In fact, yes. In fact, because you did that, I was just talking to Brett. Brett's sitting back there. Stand up and wave, Brett. Brett told me in just one weekend, this organization got him 600 signatures. Now, we're not going to get you out and get signatures, but the obstacle for Republican judges is to get the votes that they need. So we judges sit on the very bottom of the ballot. You can do the same thing in November by telling folks when they go vote, go all the way down to the bottom of the ballot, vote for those judges that are in place right now. That's myself, Brett Loveless, Sam Winder, Miles Hannessy, but also vote for the other Republican judges, the 2 new appointees who are going to have less than about 30 days to campaign to vote all the way for them. Because if we get folks all the way to the bottom of the ballot, we'll keep those judges and we'll be able to make a difference. And the interesting difference would be is history would be made, because I cannot tell you how long it's been since they've had a Republican judge in the Supreme Court. And so we're going to be able to make a difference. So that's where you can make a difference. You made a difference in Brett Loveless's case. You almost made a difference when we were working on Chris for the DA's office, and we were short put about 60 signatures, David. We came real close, but unfortunately Chris decided very quickly to we only had like about 10 days. So I need your help. Republicans need your help. You're talking about good conservative judges. I just came from a meeting a little while ago where we talked about the vetting process. This governor requires that the person she appoints is qualified to hold that position. This governor has a very thorough vetting process, and she makes sure that you have a clean criminal history, that you have a clean civil history, and that you're going to represent the judiciary in a positive fashion. The previous governor that we had, when you got to that doorstep, when you got to the governor's office, it wasn't what your qualifications were, it was who you knew. And that's how you got on there. If you look at the judiciary in the state of New Mexico, 10% are Republicans, 90% are Democrats. The Democrats like to control the third branch of government. Then that's the judiciary branch. When we have a composition, the Republicans are almost at 40%, Democrats at 60%, we are very, very far behind in equal representation in the courts. And you folks can make the difference. I need for you to make the difference. I'm going to be coming back to you again, with time permitting. There may be sometimes I might be on the agenda and can't make it here because of other commitments that I'm doing, but I've made a commitment to try to be here as often as I can. I'm going to school you more on what the judiciary is about. I want you folks to understand what this unknown branch of government is. I want you to understand what the judiciary is about. I'm going to talk about the nominating process. I'm going to talk about what judges do. I'm going to talk about what happens in court. And I know a lot of times when I get up to speak, almost inevitably I'll walk in the room and somebody says, I saw you on TV this weekend. Well, I've been on TV since I've been appointed in March of last year. I'm awake almost every weekend. I'm a brand new judge on the court. Therefore, I work Sunday mornings. This Sunday morning, just like the previous Sunday mornings, I saw between 70 to 80 people that are in custody that I have to set arraignments for. The last one that I did, that I made the television for, was this individual who offered this young lady an opportunity to spend her night at the house. The next night, he decided that it was time to torture her, which he did with electrical cords, to sexually abuse her, and which he did many times during that period of time. Fortunately, he passed out and got away. I put a $100,000 cash-only bond, and as far as I know, he's still sitting in custody. But thank you very much. You're going to see me quite often, and like I said, it's going to be more of a, not as a candidate, but you're going to see me teaching you or talking to you or helping you learn a little bit more about that branch that not a lot of people know about. Thanks again for allowing me to be here.